Donald Trump won't be in office for another 2 months, but it looks like he's already flipping the world order on its head. We're told the president-elect yesterday spoke with Russian President Vladimir Putin and that they reportedly discussed bringing the two countries closer together economically and militarily. That prospect has freaked out a lot of people, including some fellow Republicans and Pentagon officials. It also has leaders in Europe on edge who have been very worried about Putin's aggression. And now, Europe, with their cheese and baguettes, apparently considering building their own military separate from NATO. Here with more, it's Bryan Suits. He's the host of KFI radio show Dark Secret Place in Los Angeles on KFI AM 640. Bryan, of course, is also a combat veteran of Iraq and Bosnia, two areas that could be very much affected by this new world order. Welcome back, Suits.
Thanks for having me, Kennedy.
Very glad you brought the pipe. So what should the U.S. do about NATO in regards to Europe saying they're going to build their own damn army?
They should remind the Europeans that Trump, in the first debate, did say he gets NATO, that NATO, he's going to support NATO bigly. It'll be huge. But they're still reacting to what he said in July when he said, well, I don't know if we'll come to your defense. They're reacting like a mistress who overheard her sugar daddy talk to his old girlfriend, Mary Lou Isolationism. This is something that the United States post-World War II, we love hearing our politicians saying, why are we sending our boys overseas? But the reality is the world without the United States involved in Europe is a bad world. We've seen it twice in the last 100 years. It's not a good world. And the Europeans now, they know they're incapable of cutting off their addiction to generous social programs and actually pay for what would be a $100 billion.
But that's not really the worst thing for us, is it? If they have that sort of self-examination and figure out that maybe they need to buy some new Kevlar vests and some pointy guns.
Yeah, and they have. They have woken up, and they had their come to Pierre moment. And they realize we can't afford to do what the United States does with just one of its 13 carrier battle groups. The countries that are paying their 2%, Poland and Estonia, love the United States. They're the newest members of NATO, yeah, and they're the ones most directly threatened by Putin's muscle flexing, right?
Poor Poland.
The French, the others, the Germans especially, yeah, have no room to caterwaul when they're spending 1.2%. And yet they have maintained these very generous social programs for the past 60 years.
Yeah, and I think it is worth looking into that, how much they're spending and what we're responsible for. Hey, how is this Putin-Trump souffle firming up for you?
I'm still very leery of some of the connections behind the scenes that Trump has with Putin. Like General Michael Flynn being on the payroll of Russia Today, of RT, and sitting at the head table with Putin, at their 10th anniversary. I don't like that. But when I hear the name John Bolton being thrown around, that guy's a realist. He knows the measure of, he knows the cut of Putin's jib. Yeah. And I need someone who knows the cut of someone's jib. And
that's one thing. We've only got about 30 seconds, but I'm very curious about Ambassador Bolton's name still being floated because of the connection he's got with Steve Bannon. They are close. Do you think the fact that he has ruffled feathers over Russia still keeps him in the running?
I hope so. I mean, I think he's Trump's kind of guy, and if Bannon says so, then he will be Trump's guy. And Steve Bannon also is a guy who knows what we're dealing with in the Kremlin, and if he has Trump's ear, then a lot of my concerns are assuaged.
Interesting. All right, Bryan Suits, put the pipe back in. Let's see it. Very, very good. Very handsome and classy. Thank you for being here, Bryan, as always.
Thank you.